As anyone who's known my channel for some time can tell you, I absolutely frigging love the Sonic the Hedgehog series and pretty much everything about it. Its imaginative level design, its brilliant music, its gorgeously colorful graphics, its memorable characters with names that are really easy to remember, its hugely fun platforming, the tight balance between slow-paced platforming and roller coaster madness that it achieves, just about every aspect to the franchise. Okay, not every aspect. In fact, I love the series so damn much that I even have Sonic Jammies. And no, I didn't get these as a kid. I actually got them a few months ago. I love the series that much. Kinda sad, actually. I just wanted to give a bit of background to my opinions on the series before I start talking about the animated adaptations of the franchise, which oddly enough I don't feel as enthusiastic about, or at the very least forgiving. Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog was kind of bad, and although I only saw 2 episodes of that particular show, so I'm probably just being unfair to it, I think SatAM is only a decent series and not as good as everyone says, but I will get to that one some other time. I haven't seen the OVA, or Sonic X for that matter, in years, and even then I watched the admittedly average English dubbed versions of those shows, so I probably am being a bit unfair. What does this have to do with anything? Well, a few months ago I found a couple of old DVDs for that other Sonic cartoon that no one on the internet remembers or cares about at all, Sonic Underground, which has actually gotten a lot of hate by some parts of the fanbase for apparently being very un-Sonic-like. But does it deserve that hate? Well, let's check out Sonic Underground Volumes 1 and 2 of Avenue Entertainment's fantastic kids episodes and find out. Before we actually get into reviewing the actual episodes, I need to explain the situation and the history of Sonic Underground for those that don't know about it. So, does anyone, by any chance, remember the video I made nearly a year ago where I talked about the cancelled 3rd season of Sonic SatAM? No? Well, frankly, I don't blame you, but you can check it on the link in the description. Anyways, Sonic Underground is tangentially related to this, because in the video, I discussed the reasons why SatAM was cancelled, and apparently the main reason, according to the head writer of SatAM, Ben Hurst, was that SEGA didn't like how SatAM was representing Sonic, and how the writers would often make plots that were very different from what SEGA of America had asked for. So SEGA decided, screw the writers and the fans, we're just gonna can the show, and Sonic Underground would apparently have been their new show. Except for whatever reason, that didn't happen and the show never aired, or heck, even began production for all I know. Mind you, I still think that SatAM was cancelled because it was on at the same time as Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but in any case, there wouldn't be another Sonic show for quite some time. At least until the launch of the SEGA DreamCast in 1998, when SEGA decided to promote any and all profitable franchises that they owned to build up to the launch of the Dreamcast. And so an employee of SEGA, I guess, just remembered the concept of Sonic Underground and gave it over to DiC Entertainment to make a new show, which makes sense considering that DiC had already made 2 Sonic cartoons at this point. Sonic Underground aired from 1998 to 1999, with 40 episodes before being canned due to low popularity. But is it really as bad as a lot of people say it is? Let's jump in, but before I do, I keep getting away from the actual episodes, I actually have to complain about the DVD supply, the 2 fantastic kids episodes. To put it bluntly, they are god-awful. Like the Adventures of Tintin DVDs I reviewed a few months ago, there are no bonuses or extras of any sort. There are no alternate dubs, no subtitle tracks, no commentaries, no trailers, nothing, just scene select. But whereas Tintin made up for not having much by having 8 or 9 episodes per disc, each volume has only 2, count 'em, 2 episodes. My god, that's just lazy. I mean, It's really, really lazy. I mean, for God's sake, you can put a lot in a DVD, and the most that Avenue Entertainment could put in was 2 frigging episodes? Oh, good lord. Heck, it's even worse when you consider that these aren't the first 4 episodes of the show. Yes, you heard me right. Even though these are volumes 1 and 2, the actual episodes inside them are apparently episodes 12 to 15. How freaking stupid could you get? I mean, okay, to be fair, there wasn't really an official episode order for Sonic Underground. But here's the thing. The show began with a goddamn 3-parter. How could you not know there was a 3-parter Avenue? You could have just stuck that in and then put some filler episode in. Oh no, wait, that would actually require effort from you lazy twats. Oh good lord, let's just get into the show before I go mad. So, what is the story of Sonic Underground? Well, it's the same as what's expected from a Sonic show. Well, completely nothing like what you'd expect from a Sonic show. You see, in Sonic Underground, Sonic is actually the son of Queen Alina and has a brother and sister named Monica and Sonia respectively. Sonic is, of course, the cool, cocky guy who still saves the day despite his pure dickishness. Monica is a pickpocket due to being raised by thieves and doesn't get very much screen time in the episodes I'm looking at. And Sonia is basically the snob with a bad temper. But can you really blame her? Her brother plays drums all the damn time when she's trying to do something. I imagine that would make anyone grouchy. I mean, could you imagine how utterly annoying it would be while I was talking? I said, could you imagine how annoying... Oh my goodness. Lord, excuse me for a minute. Point proven. Moving on. Anyways, the 3 hedgehogs are triplets, and when Queen Alina found out that Dr. Robotnik would take over Mobius, instead of trying to warn people about Robotnik or put him in prison since she's, the bloody queen, she instead follows the main commandment of Ben Kenobi's class of parenting. Dump your kids on other families. And years later, the 3 reunite to save Mobius from Dr. Robotnik and to find their mother. Also, they have a rock band thing going on where the 3 have medallions that can transform into instruments. Sonic gets a completely ludicrous-looking guitar. Sonia gets a badass keyboard that shoots lasers and creates Silent Hill-esque mists. And Manic gets a set of drums that creates earthquakes. And to anyone wondering where Tails or any of the other characters from SatAM or just any of the other Sonic characters are, they are not here. At all. For the SatAM characters, well, there's a reason for this. Even though the show was written by SatAM's writers like Ben Hurst and Pat O'Lee, they were asked by SEGA not to change the plot in any way possible. They couldn't add new characters, radically change the plot, anything that could basically just change the plot completely. Although this probably just came about because the writers did this all the time during SatAM's production. Honestly, I don't really mind this, at the very least when it comes to Tails. He wasn't used much in Avengers or SatAM, so it makes sense to just not use him at all. At least Knuckles shows up in a 3-parter later on in the show, whereas Granddad's voiced by Sean Connery of all people. Anyways, before we get to the episodes, I just want to very briefly talk about the theme song to the show. It is frigging awesome sauce. Seriously, just listen to it for 5 seconds and tell me how awesome it is.
Sonic Underground, Sonic Underground, they made a vow their mother will be found.
I mean, it sounds as if Crush 40 teamed up with Jack Black to make an epic theme song. It is that awesome. Hell, if I'm being perfectly honest, I actually prefer it to the fastest thing alive. Oh, come on, some of us have different tastes, get over it. Anyways, let's actually get into the show after 8 minutes of me talking. We start off with The Last Resort, which begins with Sonic, Monica, and Sonia searching for something inside some abandoned place. And before someone brings this up, all 3 of them are voiced by Jaleel White, aka Urkel from Family Matters, and the voice of Sonic in SatAM, Adventures, and that new fan film by Eddie LeBron. He uses different voices for each character, so I have different feelings for each voice. Sonia's voice sounds just silly a lot of the time, and many people know that it actually sounds like Urkel's voice. Manic's voice mainly sounds like a much younger rendition of the voice he used for Sonic in SatAM and Adventures, although the back of my mind can't help thinking it sounds like a stoned version of Kevin from Ed and Eddie. But Sonic thankfully has an awesome voice due to Jaleel voicing Sonic for 91 episodes and a Christmas special up to this point, so his voice is really developed. Anyways, they find the machine they're looking for, but suddenly...
That pickles!
It is a trap!
Can I call him or what?
There's no escape for you this time, Sonic. The Royal Hedgehogs are about to be deposed. Permanently.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet our henchmen for the season, Sleet and Dingo. Sleet is essentially Robotnik's right-hand man and is voiced by Maurice LaMarche, the voice of Brain from Animaniacs, and once again is using his trademarked Orson Welles impersonation. And this Rob Liefeld reject over here has the ability to transform into stuff when Sleet presses a button on a remote. You think he's roboticized at least partially, but actually he has a morphing device inside him. And I'm sorry, but when I hear the words morphing device, I tend to think of something along the lines of this.
It's Morphin time! Dragon Sword!
Mastodon! Pterodactyl!
Triceratops!
Saber-tooth tiger!
Tyrannosaurus!
And I mean, okay, the whole transforming into other things is a good idea. It's clever, because it could be used for infiltration purposes. However, there is one very big flaw with the plan. Regardless of what Dingo transforms into, he will stay orange, not to mention his ugly mug will still be on it, thus completely ruining its disguise. Orange computer, Dingo. Orange dustbin, Dingo. Orange experiment, Dingo. Orange transvestite on a huge wheel, Dingo. Completely and utterly pointless. So we have some very dull action with a few shitty puns and the hedgehogs get away in a big van.
Don't let them get away! I can't believe this!
This is only like the 6th time that they've gotten away this week. How am I still shocked at this?
Are you sure you know where you're going? I think we're lost.
Sis is right. All this desert just looks like, well, a desert. Take a chill pill. I know exactly where I'm going.
And that would be where exactly?
Anywhere away from Sleet and Dingo.
I knew it! You are lost! Why won't guys ever admit when they're lost?
Hey, don't include me in this. I'm on your side.
Well, you are a guy!
Hey, I resent that.
So the hedgehogs wander around for various hours until they find a village
It's like
that
all
has
movies
blue
before we're
Pringles
budget
for
to go.
roofs. The hell?
Am I dreaming or what?
Welcome to Lake Valley Resort. I'm Stripes.
Well, of course he's named after something really obvious about him. This is Sonic related. Also, why does he look like a Chinaman reject?
And you are?
So Stripes welcomes the three to stay at the valley, and as you may have guessed, he's a snitch who rats out freedom fighters through Dr. Robotnik, who, by the way, isn't voiced by Jim Cummings, unfortunately, but the new actor does give Robotnik a good voice nonetheless. So the next day, the three spend their day in different ways. Monik goes around the village stealing apples since the cheap dumbass has no money. Sonya is led around the village by Stripes in an attempt to get to bed with her, and Sonic spends time playing with himself. Oh dear, I just realized how wrong that sounds.
Man, I haven't been this loaded down since we raided a Butnick supply depot.
You're with the Resistance. You're the ones who turned the rest of Mobius into a wasteland.
So, the Freedom Fighters are the people who destroyed Mobius, even though it was set up after Dr. Robotnik took over Mobius and subsequently destroyed it. Given their choice in roof design and clothes, why should he be surprised that these morons actually believe this? Meanwhile, Stripes tells Sonya about making a deal with Robotnik, and the two argue with Stripes leaving saying that he just wants to protect his home. And what do we get to complete the emotional intensity of this scene? This!
When you got a choice to make and you don't know which road to take.
And in case you're wondering, no, you're not high. This is happening. Since the show had a rock band thing going on, someone decided, for some reason, that every, and I do mean every episode, should have a 2-minute song tangentially related to the subject at hand. This song isn't all that bad, I'll admit, but doesn't it seem out of place in something Sonic related? I mean, just watch what happens when I mess with the video.
Got a choice to make and you don't know which road to take or how to feel. Listen to your heart, girl.
So, anyway, Sonic decides to check on Stripes to see if his suspicions about him being a spy are correct, and, well, they are. Big surprise. So he, Manic, and Sonya decide to get the hell out of there before Robotnik shows up, when suddenly...
You've done well, Stripes, holding this Resistance scum for us. And you even have the lovely Sonya. Excellent. Roboticize everyone in the valley. And get rid of all this green stuff.
Our heroes, everyone! They constantly run away and leave people to die and suffer at the hands of evil. Truly, these are the saviors of Mobius. Just kidding. They turn back and save the day, with Stripes convincing the villagers that the freedom fighters are actually the ones who are trying to free Mobius from death and destruction.
I suppose they'll be saying Hitler was a racist next.
I know now I can't make deals. I found a new way to protect the valley. Fighting against Robotnik. You could still stay and fight by my side.
I wish I could, but my place is with my brothers. I'll always be glad to have you as a part of the Resistance, and as a friend. Maybe the next time we need a little rest and relaxation, we'll be back.
And we never see Stripes or anyone from the village again. The end. It's not my favorite episode of the 4, but it does present an interesting idea. Do you make a deal with evil to protect your home and the people you know and care about? Or do you fight against evil to save loads of people you don't even know, with the possibility that your own people might even die? Okay, that's just what I see from it anyways.